Did you eat? It's good? Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Thank you. Bookie Juching Me Tok Cham Vida Bling Shi Nyen Degen Party Sangye Shingdu Me Te Uwagi Chogun Namdak Shing La Churpa Shuk Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kangirataya Make me say way to change and raise it. Do he may want pay wong po jam pel yang. Do pong malu don't say song way da. Gang chen ke pe su kien Tsongkapa Lop sang jak pe shab lan so wande Mek me se we te chen chen rezik Ji me kien pe wang po jam pe Du pung ma lu jom ze sang we dak Chen te pe nu kien Tsongkapa Lop sang jak pe shab la so wan dep Make me se we te chen chen rezik Tree me kien pe wang po jam pe yang Du pung ma lu dom ze sang we da Gang chen ke pe su kien Tsongkapa Lop sang jak pe shab la so wan dep Make me say we te chen chen rezik Dream me kien pe wang po jam pel yang Du pung ma lu jom ze sang we dak Gang chen ke pe su kien Tsongkapa Lop sang jak pe shab la so wan dep Make me se we te chen chen rezik Ji me kien pe wang po jam pe yang Du pung ma lu jom ze sang we dak Chen ke pe su kien Tsongkapa Lop sang jak pe shab la so wan dep Me se we te chen chen rezik Dream me kien pe Sangpo Jambaya Dupong Malu Ze Sangweda Gang Chen Kepe Su Tsongkapa Lop Sang Jakpe Shabla Sohan. Tu son gompe chere pe du so, che so son pe lu ju ge su so, chok dan tu ma nu du so du so, nu du ke ran ta bo jingi lo, deshin linke ye she cha du so, nyun zin chu pe ju ma so du so, sem ne te sam jawa che du so, nu du ke ran ta bo jingi lo, tu son gompe chere pe du so, che so son pe lu ju ge su so, chok dan tu ma nu du so du so, nu du ke ran ta bo jingi lo, deshin linke ye she cha du so, sin chu pe ju ma so du so, sem ne te sam jawa che du so, nu du ke ran ta bo jingi lo, tu son gompe chere pe du so, che so son pe lu ju ge su so, chok dan tu ma nu Keran Tabo Jingelo, Deshan Linky Yeshi Charter, so news and true patron method, so some so new do Keran Tabo Jingelo. We finished the 7-limb practice and we're ready to make requests for attainments. Please make my wisdom increase and to stay steadily increasing. So we're requesting to the outer form of Je Tsongkapa and the inner is your root lama. This is an expanded version of the Ganden Nigama. These verses, you can find them in Pabonka Rinpoche's commentary, and Ken Rinpoche, Lobsang Tokchen, my lama, has added these verses. And we say them usually 3 times in a round. Tu son gompe shero pel du sol. You request that your wisdom of listening, reflecting, and meditating increase. So, tupa is hearing and learning. That's your raw classroom hours, just listening. Maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 times you have to hear the same thing again and again. Just hearing it. Just again and again, listening. And don't ever think you've ever heard enough of any teaching. Any teaching. Never can hear enough, because each time you will hear something different. Each time you will hear something different. And you will also reach a point where, as you're listening, then you'll know that that's exactly what you will say when you teach it. So you could never hear it enough. And you have to go through it like that. It's like, no matter how much of an expert you are at playing the piano, you still have to warm up and do your scales or, something like that, right? It's the same thing. You have to hear it over and over. The muscles of our mind has to happen that way. And so that's tupa, sam. So you must keep hearing it. And then sam, it's the process of it integrating into your mind. By thinking about it a lot, it's like you're considering it, you're thinking about it, you're contemplating it in your head, in your mind all day long, or when certain things are happening, you're saying, oh, Does that teaching apply to that? It's just kind of contemplating how it fits into your life, how it comes up, that you become that, because you've heard it so many times that it suddenly just becomes this internal voice, kind of, that it's going on while other things are happening, while you're doing other things in your day and stuff like that, in your dreams. It'll happen in your dreams too. And then gompa is when when internalized, it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of you to the point where it's because gompa is like habitual, it's meditating, but in this sense it just becomes so much a part of you that when you are in meditation, the teachings are there. So it's learning to go into deep meditation. And then they just grow forever more in me. Just keep growing. Sherab, wisdom. Pel du Sol, please bless me that it increases. Please bless me that it increases. Je Tsongkapa lo Juge Sol. Grant me evermore inspiration in explaining the teachings to others, in debating their meaning, in writing their commentary. I'm going to get into this in a little while because there's a certain visualization that we do that includes these lines. So I'm going to do them all together. This one is actually a quite extensive visualization in this. Chokdan tunman nudup selduso, nudu keran tabo jingilo. Grant that I achieve the highest of goals, the worldly goals as well. Bless me that I may quickly become like you. Chok is the ultimate goal, Buddhahood. And that's to be achieved with your practice. Tunmong is, you can say, with this knowledge and the highest knowledge, right, which is the highest practice, that you gain the unique knowledge of combination wisdom and bliss. Please give me, please let me achieve combination wisdom. Make it happen very quickly as soon as possible. And you're requesting to them. So, contemplating in that way, you begin to recite the mantra. And that's when we'll go through the visualization at that time. So we'll just move on to the next verse until we get to that point before the mantra. Okay? Deshin lenke yeshe traduso, nyuzin chupe jima selduso, semne te samdrawa cheduso, nudu keran tabo jingilo. Deshin lenke yeshe traduso, grant me the light of wisdom and great simultaneous bliss. Deshin lenke, unique knowledge. That's the unique combination wisdom is lenke. Lenke is that mind in your heart. Then that mind is not functioning. It's sleeping there. That mind, from the beginning up to now, it comes continuously with us. It stays with us now, and it's going until we achieve Buddhahood. But it's sleeping there. So it's all the time with us, but it's not functioning. There are several times when it does waken. And one time is at dying time. That mind, for a very short time, it wakes up. And because at that time the winds enter the central channel, and before that time the winds have certain restrictions and tightness and won't open regularly. So then at dying time, they ultimately loosen and turn to some kind of, death body. And what they say, you can say, because it's dying time, the controller dies there of that mind, right? Because of that, then the winds release and enter into the heart chakra. And usually this can't function because of these very, 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 very tight knots. So it's like a prisoner. Deshin lenke, is staying there like a prisoner. And when you die, the control is finished and the heart chakra releases and it wakes up. What does it do when it wakes up? at that point, at dying time. It looks for the next life. Okay? Then that dying situation ends, and then you're into the bardo, the in-between, looking for the next life. And if at that time, if you practice regularly and properly, then at that time you can do a very holy practice. If you don't know about that, then you can't practice that. But, just on a note, you don't want to wait till that time. You don't want to wait till dying time, and that's a long story, and it's a very important practice. But you don't want to wait till then. You want to do it now, in this life, and wake this mind up. Wake up in that sense before then. Okay? You want to wake the most subtle mind, and the most subtle air wakes up. And that most subtle mind, most subtle air, from the beginning up to now to Buddhahood, it goes all the time. It's remaining mostly sleeping there and not functioning. So Lenke is not a temporary achievement or temporary remaining. It's always there. When it wakes up, appearance to that mind perceives emptiness directly. Deshin Lenke is combination wisdom, most great bliss, most great ecstasy. And that great bliss turns into perceiving emptiness. You are requesting for that attainment. Very big. Nyunzin Chupe Jima Selder Soul. Grant me freedom from the stench of the great mistake, grasping to things as real. Nyunzin, Nyupe, self-existent. Zin, holding, grasping. Self-existence does not exist. But the mind uses a self-existent thing as its object. Its unique object, even if it's not self-existent, it's holding and it's grasping to it as a self-existent phenomena. And this is our biggest obstacle. So we must learn to negate the self-existence of an object. And the first one is with your mind, and the second one is with your parts, you and your parts. The stench of the great mistake, grasping to things as real. The things we hold as self-existent is this vase, this body, right? And we're grasping to a concept of self. We're grasping to your mind as a self-existent mind. And because of that mind is constantly thinking of these many wrong things, these wrong objects, because you're grasping to them as self-existent, what happens is then we do the wrong thing. And that's where we keep creating and collecting this not such great karma. Chuki Daksin, your mind, your mind's main object and subject is that daksin, that grasping to your mind as a self-existent thing. Then that influences and urges our mind all day long, all day long, all day long, all day long, all night long. When you're meditating, you're working on trying to stop that. But still it's doing it then until you're in a deep state of meditation, of seeing emptiness directly. But then you have to remember that your mind is like following that object. It follows that self-existent object. Okay, how does it follow it? Let's see. somebody tells you to your face, you're stupid. Just clearly says, you're stupid. Your mind follows to that toxin. And it says, I'm not stupid. right? I'm not stupid. You know? And then that ignorance leads you to anger. That anger then produces you to do something. You know? Just meditate on that. Nyunzin refers to that. Your mind in yourself is not a self-existent mind or a self-existent person. Nyunzin is drima. Drima is the most powerful obstacle. Drima, the most powerful obstacle. And that obstacle all the time is keeping you suffering endlessly. It is your most error mind. Error, chulwa, the most powerful error. It's a powerful and heavy obstacle. And you say, Drima, Selduso, please remove it, that obstacle from my mind. We can go on for a very long time on that subject. That you definitely have to hear thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, millions of hours on. Because it's our biggest obstacle. So you can only imagine how many times you have to listen to, contemplate, and meditate on. Okay? So, I'm going to go through like an actual meditation. We'll go step by step. Okay? And you have to, this is as much as you can, as we go through it, these are the things you should be thinking of when you do the mantra. Okay? So, and it gets easier because some people might have even heard some of this before it could apply to another situation. So but it might seem like a lot, but it might not. There's 3 parts. I think 3 parts of the first part. I'm not sure. Anyway, 3 parts. The first part is called madak tru. Madak is your impurities. Okay? True, to wash. Madak tru, to wash yourself of impurities. Mende, purify the bad things. Yende, you're filling up with the good things. And pungde is dispelling in a heap. So you do the meditation preliminaries like we did before, right? And then you start the mantra. And then that's when this visualization comes in as you're doing the mantra. Most likely you'll have to have the mantra memorized by then to be able to do that. Because it's in general not so easy to do a mantra when you're visualizing until you get used to that. Especially if you don't have it memorized. You'll be thinking of the words, you won't be able to split your mind and do that. So, either way, you keep reciting the mantra and you're asking Je Tsongkapa to come up to if they're in front of you, right? We're at that point of the meditation where you ask them to come to the top of your head. Okay, right? Come to the top of your head, turn around, about this big, above your head. And then from Je Tsongkapa's body, like a very thick honey entering the tip of your head. And this nectar goes through, it's got 5 colors. Okay, white, red, green, yellow, blue. Mende. You're forcing, as it comes through, you're forcing all the dark negativities down to the bottom of your body. And in the commentary, it just says, if you can't handle the 5 colors, then just do white. It's okay. Just by the way. So, in this particular meditation, you're going through the 6 perfections. One by one. Do you know those? Tell them.
Giving, morality, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom.
Okay. So one by one. So we're going to do giving now, just thinking about giving. And you have to do each of these parts for each one of those parts. The 6 parts, 6 perfections. You know, right? So we're on the first part, madak tru. So the nectar comes down and it pushes out the negativities. So you imagine anything you do which is against the perfection of giving. Right? You think about specific failures of the perfection of giving that you're doing or that you've done. So you try to visualize how they are in your heart, right? It's like your heart is like full of this like blackness, you know, a darkness like soot. And it's all the collected negativities of the times when you didn't give to people the things that they need, the comforts that they need, the teachings that they need. Be specific. You know, pick one. You know, you can generally do all the givings, but I think if you do this enough times, you can be specific about the giving. Okay? So you pick those few instances where you failed to give something that you could have given, where your attitude was just not, you know, like you gave it, maybe your attitude really didn't want to give it, you know, or something. You can find it, even if you're a really giving person. There's something there. So the nectar comes down and pushes all the negativities, right? So by the time it reaches the bottom of your body, they turn into like black, they use in the scripture, and like scorpions and spiders and centipedes, poisonous, ugly creatures. You might like those creatures, so they might not be too ugly. I don't know. Some people like those things. But it's in the scripture, so I give it to you. It could just also be a black, gooey, yucky stuff itself, okay? But I don't want you to miss out on knowing that they also visualize that. So they're going out your bottom door, as we say, okay? The bottom. And you visualize a huge hole opening up under you in the ground. And it goes down below the earth, everything, like the ground opens up. And they're entering into that. And like that. And the Lord of Death is waiting down there. A big, very ferocious creature. You've met him. Remember the Wheel of Life? He's waiting there. He's waiting there to end your life, right? But we all know what's really inside of us. We know that, right? Get that? The visualization. He's down there. You got to visualize it. Got to go with the movie. Huge jaws, the big hands, just waiting. Okay, wanting to pull you down. The Lord of Death is waiting below the earth, wanting to take you down on the day of your death. So you imagine this creature opens up its big mouth and wide, and all the poisons, all the dirt, all the black things, spiders, scorpions, all fall perfectly into his mouth. And you know, like when you eat something, and you just want to just like relax, and you feel really satisfied, and kind of curl up on the ground, or on the couch, or whatever you got, That's what he does. He just kind of curls up, and he's like, that was good. He's satisfied. So, pacified, satisfied, no longer needing your death to feed them. He doesn't want you anymore. So then immediately, okay, because who knows how long he'll stay satisfied, right? Immediately close up the ground. Okay, seriously. You close up the ground and you put a double dorje there. I don't know if anybody knows what it looks like, but I saw a sweatshirt on hanging out outside. They have it. You can look later, but it's a double dorje. A cross, okay? Doesn't matter. Seal it up. That is the seal. Okay, that's the point of it, okay? It's the seal. It symbolizes protection of your life. And you're going to live and you don't have to die like that. And you're doing the mantra, right? And you're remembering each specific thing that you did has entered the mouth of the Lord of Death. And they are satisfied. And if you practice it properly, then you don't have to die. You don't have to die. You have to know that. You have to feel that. Then Yende, you're filling up with light. So you imagine the nectar light coming from Je Tsongkapa, your lama above the head, starts filling up your body like a cup, right? Where you pour into a cup or a glass, and when you pour it in, and you're looking in the glass and you see it filling up, so now it's coming up You see, even though it's coming from up here, it's filling up. That's where your mind is thinking now. Okay? And it's still the 5 colors, right? So it's rising to the top. The beautiful stream of light keeps coming up. It's flowing up. It's changing your body to light as it works up your body. And the last impurities, the last weaknesses of the perfection of giving are floating on the top of that nectar-filled light. And as it's coming up, little traces of that ugly black stuff is still left. And it's coming to the top. And then it's being carried out to the very top of your head. But also in some scriptures they say it's coming out all your doors up here. Mouth, ears, nose, just coming out. Now then it's out here, right? You're imagining it's in front of you. As soon as it is in front of you, it dissolves. Okay? It's not like you're leaving all your germs and things out here for people to pick up. You have to see it dissolve into emptiness. As soon as it is in the space in front of you, it dissolves. You imagine you are clean. You imagine your whole body is filled with the nectar light. It feels really, really good. Feel it. Experience that. And and then with your body full of that light, start thinking of how you've done things that are the perfection of giving. Okay? Think about things that you could do also. Rejoice in some of the successes that you had about the perfection of giving. It's very important to do the second part, to imagine the good things you've done, right? The things you've given to people. So you wrote through, you know the different givings, right? Different kinds of giving. Giving things, giving love, giving protection, giving dharma. 4 kinds of giving. So still the lama is above your head, right? Je Tsongkapa, in the form of your lama. You feel the warmth in your body and your body changing, because it's becoming more like that perfect being that's there with you. Okay? So that part of the visualization is called Madak Truk. Visualizing, cleaning your impurities and rejoicing. You could say the first one represents, they say, Vajrasattva's purity in the sutra version, and then the second one with the spreading of the golden light is Manjushri's light. So instead of going on to the next perfection, which you could if that was all you were doing, you do the third part of this visualization, which is Mishe Sel. So remember, you have to go through the 6 perfections. And when you do, you start from where we just started. Each time you have to start all over for each perfection. Right? But we're going to move on to the next part so we can get a thing. Mishe Sel. To stop all your ignorance, to get rid of your ignorance. Mishe is not understanding. She is your wisdom. Mi is a negative, right? Not understanding. Things you don't know or didn't understand yet. Sel, to clear away. To make them clear, to bring light to remove what you don't understand. It brings light to the darkness of ignorance. So more nectar light starts coming down and fills your body. This time it's a golden color. From above. From your lama above your head. And it's seeping through your body. So, this gets a little more extensive. You imagine that it's coming down this time as like little drops of gold. The drops are, you could visualize them like little crystal globes of gold. Inside the globe is a wisdom light, a lamp, right? It's burning with a gold flame. That's what makes it gold, okay? And when you see it going into your body, it's like, like a flash with a camera. You know how it's just like, and then the darkness is gone. Or they say also when you walk into a dark room and you turn the light switch on, switch on, then the darkness is gone. That's what happens. All the darkness, your ignorance that is left, that didn't go up or down, even purified, is gone. Like that. Like a flash. And this is Pungde, where it dispels in a heap, right? Because it's all still heaped up there and it just dispels. Like that. It instantly removes all the obstacles to wisdom with a snap of the finger. And you destroy your ignorance like that. That'd be nice.
So you will flash it once, or
yeah,
fireworks.
Yeah, either way. Yeah. And you're chanting the mantra, right? And as those golden globes of wisdom are coming in, it's know that that's what you're receiving, to dispel the ignorance like that. So you imagine that Je Tsongkapa is giving you more knowledge about how to practice giving, because we're going through the 6 perfections, right? More strength, and gives you more power to practice giving. Okay? And specifically request that you understand perfection of giving more. So you're clearing away your lack of knowledge about the 6 perfections by having this wisdom nectar light come in little drops of golden globes, and inside the globes there was a golden light, and when the light is filling your body, you try to review what you know about giving. How you understand giving, what giving means, what are the different kinds of giving. What would it be like to give with the perfection of wisdom, which you have to really study the perfections to. You're giving knowing that the object is empty, you were empty, and the subject, no, you were the subject, the object, the subject, all parties are empty. That's what I missed. The object, the subject, and the,
The act of giving.
The object of giving.
The act.
The act. Thank you. Okay? Are all empty of self-existence. So knowing that when you're giving. Okay, so the golden globes of light are circling through your body. Your whole body is filling with light, like that, as quickly as you can, right? And you're gaining more and more knowledge from Je Tsongkapa, more and more knowledge. Don't stop requesting. Don't stop thinking. It's very important during this meditation that you're in the mode of asking for help. Because that's what we're doing in this part of the prayers. We're requesting, right, for these, supplicating to receive all this wisdom. We're asking for our lama's blessing and help. So actually visualize asking them. See yourself asking them. See them helping you. Just visualize it, see it. As the nectar light is coming down into you. And then your knowledge of how to give, of how to be patient, of how to concentrate, and all that will get stronger and stronger, more and more bright, more and more light. And then you ask them for the strength, that to give the things that you're not ready to give yet. The strength to do it. And to know the right ways to do it. So you do this cycle through the 6 perfections like that. How was this the 3rd step? So was that so that was the 2nd step, right? The first step were the other 2. That was the 2nd step.
Was the Chinrazi, and that was the Manjushri.
That's the first step.
Oh, that's
Hold on, that's the first step. The Mishe cell is the 2nd step, and now this is the 3rd step. So now we're going to the third step. Okay. Nujuk. Okay. These are the verses actually. To get it really, no. The answer is no. These are the verses actually right after the mantra. Okay? So you'll see that what we were just going through were as when we get to the mantra, you'll understand how they fit into the mantra as Rich was asking. This part is actually kind of in the verses right after the mantra. 3 verses starting with Peldin Sewe Lama Rinpoche and ending with Seldu Sol. There's 3 verses there. And we'll get to them. Okay, but I wanted to do the whole visualization together because it's really quite beautiful instead of breaking it up going through the verses. Nudrup is to achieve spiritual achievements, the siddhis, the spiritual accomplishments, accomplishing your goals. There's 3 different verses requesting for them. Okay, Chokda Nidrup, ultimate spiritual attainments, which is nirvana and enlightenment, the removal of your mental afflictions permanently, and total Buddhahood. Those 2 things. There's normal attainments, and they say there's supreme attainments. You could explain it one way by you're asking for the 8. I think there's 8. I don't know. 8 minus siddhis, which is like the ability to walk on water. This is before you're enlightened, okay? The ability to walk on water, ability to fly through the sky, the ability to pass through solid objects with your body. I don't know. There's others, like the ability to just take a pill and you're full. You don't have to eat anymore. Like that. These are siddhis. Things like that. And then the other way of explaining is there's just normal attainments in your everyday life. You're requesting, may I get along with my friends, may I get a promotion at work, may I have a life that's comfortable and conducive to do my practice. May I love my neighbor, may I not, may I love my boss. May my children be happy. Things like that. Whatever things you wish for in your life or in other people's lives for them. So these are covered when you do the 6 perfections, so you don't have to really do a separate visualization for those. You'll get them as a byproduct for practicing the 6 perfections. Okay? So next is the final step for each of the 6 perfections. Once you have wisdom for yourself, how do you learn how to communicate that to others? This is a big thing, really. You've cleaned out your gross problems. Your problems with the perfections. You've meditated on how well you're doing it. You're rejoicing you're doing your practice. You're getting it. You're rejoicing on your progress, which is the second visualization where you fill up with the nectar light. You fill yourself up with progress. Then you ask for the blessings to supercharge your practice, right, of giving. You're asking them to light up in you the abilities of the perfection of giving, and so on, that you never dreamed you even had. You're constantly asking them to give you the abilities beyond what you think you can do. You must do that. Not only the ones you could think of, because the ones like you're lacking, so you're asking, may I be able to give this or to be patient with that. There's also that little bit of that you're not even aware of. You always have to throw in, and all those things I just don't know that I can have, because we can't really imagine all the abilities and the magnitude of the things you're going to be able to do when you're enlightened. You can't even imagine it. It's quite amazing. So, I ask for those that are beyond your imagination, your capabilities, So if you had perfect giving, you're asking Je Tsongkapa, still above your head, for the ability to convey these holy words, to communicate it to others, to give the Dharma to other people, to communicate it to other people. So here's the visualization for that. Dutsi Bebjong. Dutsi is the nectar, right? The Beb is the coming down. The Jong is to make yourself pure. This is where you have to really like bear down and you're asking for blessing. Okay? So, each drop of nectar is coming down in but a little different, in a crystal globe, tiny, tiny, tiny. Inside of it is a pink lotus flower. On top of that, okay, is a book wrapped in golden cloth, and then a sword on top of that. You fit it in that little thing, globe. Very good practice, very good mental practice. If you remember, that is what Je Tsongkapa is. On the lotuses coming out on the sides from his mudra, right? There's a sword and the text. Right? Okay. So, the book on top of the pink lotus wrapped in the golden cloth, one tradition is to visualize it open or not open or wrapped. Another tradition is to hear the Dharma being spoken to you, hearing the sound of it. Asking for the blessing to be able to explain its correct meaning to others. So you're asking for the ability to communicate the teachings to other people in whatever way, just as you're talking to someone, using skillful means to give them the special meaning of the text. It could be with your children, with your parents. You're asking for the ability to verbally explain the holy words that are explained to you. To relate to people perfectly as you're speaking, to be able to even say the right thing. Because the right thing will be based on the teachings, you see. Even if it's not really teaching them something at the time, by you just saying the right thing, speaking perfectly, that's what you're asking. You're communicating the Dharma at that time. Because in your mind, a lot's going on. You know what's going on for you as you're speaking. So that is, learning how to communicate the Dharma. Just how do you speak to others? Because if you are able to speak purely, then you're speaking the teachings. Okay? You see? So it's not only, we're not necessarily just asking to be able to teach. You understand? So, and when you're thinking of the six perfections, so of course it's speaking, with patience, right? Where your words are coming out, you're giving, words that are giving some, to others, and so on. You're asking for that ability. On the other lotus, there's a very beautiful, on the pink lotus, there's a very beautiful sword wrapped in a burning flame. And this is a request for the ability to debate, the ability to address other people's objections or concerns about the teachings. There are certain ways to debate properly. And here you're asking for that ability. That's the sword. The sword is cutting through every misperception and misreason that you have. It's cutting to the truth. And that's what debating does. That kind of addressing people's concerns. And there's very beautiful ways of how to do that. And that's a long, that's a whole thing you should really learn. Because that will actually help you understand the teachings really, really well. Really, really well. You can do it in your meditation, analytical meditations and stuff, when you're looking at analyzing the objects and things too. So, those two together, the sword and the text, represent how to write the scripture. You're requesting the ability to be able to write scripture, to put it down in written word, in letters. You're communicating it, you're debating it, you're learning how to write the reasons down of logic and so on and so forth. How to compose 10,000 pages of scripture like Je Tsongkapa. I mean, it's amazing that a person could write that amount. He obviously was asking for blessings for that. I mean, you could pray that you can do that also. I mean, the amount of commentaries written by Je Tsongkapa is just unbelievable. Clearly, perfectly, so you can understand it. And we should aspire to that. Why not? Just add it to your list of, big goals. Why not? Okay. So when you're finished with that whole meditation, then you ask Je Tsongkapa to come into your heart. Right? You ask your lama to stay. They shrink, right? They get smaller, the size of the pea. They drop down straight, like right in front of your backbone, about a half an inch, coming very, very straight down to the level of your heart, and they stay in the mansion, palace there, which is also very tiny, right? And then you dedicate the virtue, of your meditation. That's the typical way you end a meditation, right? And you see the light from their body going to your body becomes light, and then you give it to others. And just at the end, you always get a little bit of light back, so you keep the blessings coming back to you, so you can have more to give. Like you don't just empty it all out, and then you drained of all this light. You always have to have a couple of lights coming back. So it's actually non-ending. Okay? So now we're up to the mantra. This mantra is in Tibetan. You should say it in Tibetan. Whether you know the meaning or not, you'll get a blessing. But if you know the meaning, it becomes, of course, extremely holy. The essence of the words will be in your heart. So you can think about its meaning while you say it, plus the visualization and everything else, right? So there's a first line. I think it's in your text, right? The first line. What page?
10.
The mantra?
Oh, the mantra.
12. Thank you. Nujuk Kunjung Tumwang Dorje Chang. I pray to the one who holds the diamond, the source from where every goal is found. This we don't recite. It's a part of the mantra. We don't recite this one. Vajradhara, source of all realizations, the originator of all realizations. So we're going to just jump to the next one. And I gave you the mantra before. We just sang it again, and so you know what it starts with. Mikme Sewe Terchin Chen Rezik. Jime Kienpe Wangpo Jampel Yang Dupang Malu Jonze Sangwe Dagan Chinkepe Suk Je Tsongkapa Lo Sanjape Shablan Sowadep. I pray to loving eyes, treasure of love, with no one it loves. I pray to soft, glorious voice, Lord of knowledge, that has no stain. I pray to the keeper of the secret, who smashes all of the army of demons. I pray to Tsongkapa, crowning jewel of masters of the land of snow. I pray to the one I pray at the feet. I pray to Je Tsongkapa. Je Tsongkapa, the manifestation of the absolute guru, a manifestation of how many gurus you have, of your root lama. You should recite this prayer with that awareness. The guru is Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, the cause of all realizations, of all happiness. Your lama. Je Tsongkapa is already in your life, coming to you in all these forms to teach you exactly what you need, when you need it. If you think about it, if you know anything about Tibetan Buddhism or Buddhism in general, there's often, you'll hear, oh, the reincarnation of so-and-so, and this, Rinpoche, his reincarnation. If you think back, who have you heard has been the reincarnation of Je Tsongkapa? I mean, it's 1400s. I mean, we can go back and say, the reincarnation of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, so on and so forth. But Je Tsongkapa is the only one in our lineage who never had a reincarnation. And that's because he always comes as your root lama. He comes as everybody's root lama. He doesn't have a reincarnation. So you should memorize this mantra. You've been granted the power of the Je Tsongkapa lineage now just by even hearing it. You've been given this lineage, and you can call on him anytime, and he will come to you as your root lama. I pray to loving eyes, treasure of love, with no one it loves. Nikme sewe tertun chenrezik. Avlokicha Shivara. Great treasure of compassion. Chenrezik. Loving eyes. A total, compassionate, bursting with love for every single being on the planet. Like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Mikme, you don't see anything, right? Mik is the eyes. Ne is it's the negative. It's describing a kind of love. You could say there's a kind of love. How do you say? There's a kind of love that looks at a person and loves them as it sees its emptiness. It doesn't see anything. Love that doesn't see any self-existence. As you have compassion for someone, at the same time you're aware that they don't have any nature of their own. Often when we get this feeling of compassion or something where you're looking at some sort of suffering of a person, or there's a reason, you have all these reasons why you might feel compassion for a certain type of being or something. And generally, that kind of compassion is holding on to something that's self-existent, right? They're suffering. They're that type of a being, like certain. You find people who like, those kind of animals better. They have a certain compassion, and it's you're holding on to something as self-existent. So this kind of love is loving, but knowing that the object is not self-existent. Therefore, they can love every single thing. You see? When we're compassionate, when we're feeling that kind of love for someone, you know it's like, there's someone at the top of your list. It's just natural. You walk down the street, there are certain sufferings or certain people that you say, oh, they need my help first. They're suffering more. We have everybody has their own list of who they think is suffering more. Many people will say, oh, God, they got everything, they're not suffering. We also have a list of those we think are totally not suffering. Right? Like that. We have those lists in our minds. We're not looking at the object and remembering that they are not self-existent that way that we see them. This is how Chenrezig is looking. Sees it all the same, because it is not this self-existent suffering or type of being. It sees their emptiness. It doesn't see anything. Love that doesn't see any self-existence. It's the perfect kind of love. You're having this compassion for somebody. At the same time, you're aware that they do not have any nature of their own. That's the ultimate form of love. It's like love is wanting them to be happy, wanting them to be free of suffering while understanding their emptiness. How to get them free of suffering. It's it's an informed kind of love. It's a love that understands how the object of your compassion could be made into an enlightened being through your efforts. It's a special kind of love. Because even your body and your parts are empty, right? You can turn this body into light. The same goes for the people you love. So, it doesn't mean that at the time, because remember, we talked about this, I think yesterday. It doesn't mean that at the same time you're seeing them, you see their emptiness directly. Because only an enlightened being can do that, right? We talked about that. Only an enlightened being can see emptiness and normal reality at the same time. Maybe that was today. I don't know. I think the two truths or something maybe. I don't know. But it's intellectually you understand, all right? Intellectually you understand the emptiness. Clearly understanding the potential. Everyone around you could become an enlightened being because they're empty. And you do it with whatever understanding you have. Right? You don't have to say, oh, I don't understand it enough, I can't do it. You have to start doing it with whatever understanding you have. Just do it. Notice the notice which people and which, what about those people or beings, trigger the most compassion in you, and the ones that don't. Also the ones that you just think don't need your compassion at all. And why, Just think about it. So you can see where you're discriminating, so you can try to cut through that. Begin to cut through that. And then switch it around. Think about those that you think don't need any help or anything at all, and think of how much they need, and you can give it to them. And those that you think need help, maybe don't need you at all. Maybe they don't need you at all. You play with it just to try to get your mind to, be equal, balance out a little bit. It's very important, as you have compassion, don't think, this poor person, needs some food, like that. Rather think they're empty. I'll love them, right? I'll help them become an enlightened being. I will take that responsibility. Then they won't have to worry about food. At the same time you're feeding them. You're still feeding them because you have to. It's important for you to do that, to have that imprint of giving that. Okay? It's still important for you. Knowing that the object is empty and you see them hungry, you see them bleeding or whatever it is, you see them, being picked on, you still need to do something. You need the imprint of seeing yourself doing something. You can't just walk away and say, okay, they're empty, I don't need to do anything. You must do something because they are empty and do not have any true nature of their own. That's why you must do something. So just be careful of that, falling off the cliff thing. Okay, so at the same time you feed them and you give them a place to rest or so on, you have these thoughts going on in your mind. You're aware of their emptiness. Sewang is the love. Mikmei, we just went through Mikmei. Now the Sewang. Is the love. Terchen is a great treasure, right? I pray to loving eyes, treasure of love, the great treasure. A gold mine of opportunity. Great treasure. Chenrezig. It's like when you're in love with somebody, you have these eyes of admiration, infatuation, you can say, right? When you're looking at somebody that you're in love with, you have a certain way of looking at them. That's how Chenrezig is looking all the time, in love with everybody. Eyes of love that can't stop loving you. So the Chenrezig, the zik at the end, is to look. Right? So is to look with that kind of love, always. Just meditate on that for a second. Just think about it. Of what it is to have someone that looks at you like that. Picture their eyes looking at you like that, and then picture how you look at others with those kind of eyes. What the difference is. Somebody looking at you maybe in a different way or Jime Khenpe Wangpo Jampel Yang. I pray to soft, glorious voice, Lord of knowledge that has no stain. Manjushri, Lord of stainless wisdom, who has stainless understanding. Jime, the immaculate, Genpe, knowledge. Immaculate in this case refers to knowledge. It's knowledge that does not see things as self-existent. In regards to enlightened being, it means they removed both of the obstacles, to see things. They can see things, all things in the universe at the same time, and they removed all their negativities, right? And the biggest obstacle of seeing things as self-existent. Wangpo is the king or lord, and Jampel Yang is Manjushri. Manjushri Gosha. Jamp is gentle. Pel is glory. Yang is voice. Jampel Yang. Speaks voicely with a gentle voice of knowledge that carries a big sword of wisdom. The ultimate holder of sutra wisdom. Carrying with his sword, all the mistaken views of reality are cut. You usually see Manjushri with a sword. We don't have him here. He's up there somewhere. Maybe not in that one.
Sometimes you see Kunga Japa, is that the same? Like gentle voice or something? Soft, glorious, replace gentle.
I think so. Yeah. Kunga. Huh. Yeah, Manjushri. You can imagine Manjushri at the crown, a stream of, his nectar coming to you, and that all those kind of, negativities and everything are being chopped with the sword. I pray to the keeper of the secret who smashes all the army of demons. Dupong Malu Jamse Sangwedak. Dupong. Du is all the demons, okay? The bad thoughts, the negativities. The Pung is like the army. Okay, the big army, the army of negative beings and thoughts. Malu is how do you say? All, okay, completely, entirely. Who smashes all the army of demons. Jom is the smash, to defeat. And they is one who has done that. So Sangwe Dak is the Lord of Secrets, Vajradhara, from Lord Buddha that's the form that Lord Buddha takes to teach Tantra. The owner of the secrets, destroying all the lords of demons. What are your demons? Are these demons outside of you that just want to visit you once in a while and screw you up for a while? He's like, yeah, those guys. Huh? Your ignorance. Holding on to that things have a true existence of its own, right? Self-grasping ignorance, including the seed. So he will destroy the army of demons. They may manifest in all those guys out there. They will, actually. You could see them. You will see them. It's your projection. So you'll see them. I pray to Tsongkapa, crowning jewel of masters of the land of snow. Gangchen Kepe Sukjen Tsongkapa, crowning jewel of the sage of the land of snow. Gangchen, Gang is snow, Chen is having that. Gangchen, the snowy lands, Himalayas, right? Kepe, the great thinkers or wise men. Sukyen, that's the very top of your head, at the very tip top of your head. Sukyen, it's like they call it the ornament for the top of your head, the crowning jewel. Sukyen, all the wise men of Tibet who would, it's like you have to think, this is your crowning jewel, right? You would take that part of your head, the highest point, and you place it down at the feet, right, of your lama, of Je Tsongkapa. You see? The highest crowning jewel, the ornament on the top of your head goes down that low. Okay, you touch your head at their feet. Is a way of saying how they are higher than you. Okay, so Sukyen is all the other wise men of Tibet at this time, right? Because this is I pray to Tsongkapa, crowning jewel of masters of the land of snow, would take the top of their head and put it at the feet of Je Tsongkapa. He is incomparable to all. And Tsongkapa, actually Tsong is, he was born near a river called Tsongka. You know, it's a name. The one from Tsongka River. Tsongkapa. I pray to one. I pray at the feet. I pray to Lobsang Drakpa. And Lobsang Drakpa is his ordination name. Shabla at his feet, so wind up and make request. Okay, so in the mantra of Je Tsongkapa, right? He's the angel of compassion, loving eyes, the angel of wisdom, gentle voice, Manjushri, and the keeper of the secret teachings, the holder of the diamond Vajradhara. The message is that he is an enlightened being who can emanate in any form we need, any form that we need at any time. And the implication is that our own Lama is herself or himself Je Tsongkapa. So in whatever way that they appear, your glorious Guru, whatever holy name that they take, you pray, may I and others, may our wishes be actualized. In the mantra, there are three enlightened qualities that are, the words in the mantra have a certain meaning. Three qualities of an enlightened being. Kinse Nupa Yeshe. Kinse Nupa Yeshe. Three qualities of wisdom, right? Loving kindness, and spiritual power. Right? We went through it. It's in the qualities of the beings that we went through. Kienpei, knowledge, the ability to see all things, everything that is ever going to happen. You could read the mind of every person in the universe, right? Simultaneously, perfectly equipped to help the people around you. And you know, because you'll know what's going on. You knew what went on before, you know what's going on now for them, and you know what's going to happen. So you can perfectly help them at that time. It's a perfect viewpoint from which to help people, to serve people. Knowledge, the ability to see all things, your omniscience. Seiwei, loving kindness. So, if you think about it, right? All right, so what? You can see the past, future, the moment, all times. So what? In a way, right? No, it's a big thing. It'd be great, right? But then so what? What are you going to do with that? You need Seiwei. Seiwei is what? The loving kindness. Okay? It doesn't help to just read minds and see the future if you don't care about anybody. You need the compassion to do something with that knowledge. So it's the love to want to do something for others, to do something with that knowledge. Now, if you can imagine how much you love yourself, you love your own life, they love you more. Your lama loves you more than you could even love yourself. So we have all this omniscience and knowledge and everything, and the amazing compassion of giving. But how do you say? What is it that you need? You have all this knowledge, this wisdom, and you have this compassion. You need the power, the strength. There's a certain power that you need to actually help. There's a certain something you need to do, right? Understand? That's to emanate. That's how you become capable to do it. You manifest. Nyupa. So the purpose of the mantra is to Kinsei Nyuden, right? He has the love of Chenrezig, which is the embodiment of all the Buddha's love. The knowledge of Manjushri, which is, I don't know, has everything. Just everything possible, right? There's three things. Wisdom, love and kindness, spiritual power. The last two lines are just to Je Tsongkapa. So you don't even have to say the first two lines really. Because they're all one. He is in the other three. The last two lines are saying he is the culmination of the first three. So, you're asking for the blessing from this being. It will come in the form of the people around you, your teachers around you, and you'll recognize them because of the blessing of this mantra. And that's the reason to do it. There's people watching over you. Certain beings have been following you from life to life. They know what's happening with you better than you do. Because if you can see the past, future, right? If you have that omniscience, then why wouldn't that be? Why wouldn't that be? Right? And they keep appearing throughout your life as different people. Why not? Watching you, taking care of you, teaching you.
Is Manjushri a name for Tsongkapa?
Well, we just said they're all the same, so it depends on really what you're asking.
I just mean traditionally. I thought Manjushri was a separate.
Right. Correct. But they're all in one. the same. So you will see him represented in a different form. Yeah.
Is that a similar comment to the water comment you made yesterday? Pouring water in.
You could think like that. Yeah. Exactly. But be thinking this mainly, okay? That Je Tsongkapa appeared at, they say, in the time of the Buddha, and then appeared, they say, as Padmasambhara. Then he came to introduce, Buddha as Atisha. This is what the scripture also says. Then as Je Tsongkapa. Then as different beings since then. You can go with that. Okay? You can go with that. But what you have to be thinking, and you have to be really clear about this, Je Tsongkapa is not a historical figure from 1400. He continues to emanate as different people. There's no restriction to one emanation. Emanation, right? You're sending out different bodies. Okay? They could be many people. So with wisdom, love, and kindness, and the spiritual power, they would want to follow you all around, all the time. Chase you around, keep trying to get you enlightened, keep trying to get your attention until you finally see they're there already. You just don't see them. They're there all the time. Don't think that you're doing a mantra to some Tibetan guy who's been dead 500 years ago. Really. Seriously. You must go through all the things that we went through, rejoicing about the things that he's done, Acknowledge all that, yes. But don't think that that's what you're doing at that time. It's not like that. You're doing a mantra to someone who has been around you frequently, who is following you, okay, who cares about you, who knows about your life today, who knows what you're thinking and is constantly emanating around you to help you. It's your root lama. You must think like that. You must. That is the power. And you can do the mantra when you're waiting for your lama to show up. When you're going to see them, you could be reciting the mantra on your way. I think we should do the mantra a while. Usually you have a mala. I see you got one there. But anyway, we could just do it without counting. I think we should just all do the mantra together. Let's get in a little comfortable thing, and maybe we'll take I don't know. We'll see how long. Be comfortable wherever you are. If you're sitting on a chair, that's okay. Just be comfortable and maybe stretch out a minute. Maybe stand up, stretch a minute or something. Because I think we should take 10, 15 minutes to just do it or something. I don't know. You think you can handle that? Huh? Too tight? You want to stand up, stretch a little first? Yeah. Yeah, why don't you do that? Anybody has to blow your nose, go to the bathroom. Might as well pretend we're on a retreat. We'll see you later. Tonight? Yeah, good. when you go back, when we're meditating, you could turn on music. No need to stretch? Oh, you did? It's okay. If you leave in the middle of the lunch, he doesn't want to do his homework? It really does, actually. Amazingly so. Yeah, we could. But if anyone needs one or would like one at some point, and you really want to do this practice, let me know at some point. I can help you. Left. Left under. Thumbs up. Navel. I would say we're done with the preliminaries. We've been going through them a lot, right? The actual 7 limbs. Just bring to your mind a little bit right now. Review the 7 limb practice a little bit. Just whatever comes to your mind. I'm not even going to say it. I want you to, just what comes to your mind about the 7 limbs. Okay, and begin by start watching your breath. Aware of the touch of the breath, at the opening of the nostrils, the cool air hitting the nostrils and on the way in, and the warm air coming out. Let's do 3 rounds of 10 breaths. Exhale, inhale. The out breath is first, and the in breath is second half of the number 1. If your mind starts to wander over to other objects, then count again to 1. Take refuge. Take refuge in the emptiness. In the emptiness, even in the fact that you are alive and the people around you and the place that you live are all empty. And if you keep your commitments and vows and ethical way of life well, then everything you could change. That's taking refuge. It's the only thing that can protect you. Think about how that is possible. Generate bodhicitta to your mind. Think of someone that you usually have that kind of compassion that we spoke about for. Think about what that feels to have that kind of compassion. Try to feel it really deeply. And then try to find that person you usually do not have compassion for. And look at them with your eyes and try to feel that as you do for the other one. Look at them with the same loving eyes. And then always good to have that neutral person who you don't have the lack of compassion for nor compassion. They're just neutral. You don't even recognize them at all. And look at them with those same loving eyes. invite a holy being. Je Tsongkapa from Maitreya's heart on a cloud. They sit in front of you. Bring back as much as you can the visualizations that we did when we invited the merit field in the Ganden Yagama. Just whatever you can. And remember to make it beautiful, live action. You are there. Make beautiful offerings. Fill the sky, fill the ocean. Do your purification and rejoicing. Request for the teachings, to receive the teachings, for the Dharma to stay in the world. Request that your lama stays, that Je Tsongkapa is always near you. And with that, we start to do the mantra. I understand that some of you might have to open your eyes to read it. Try to stay in it. Don't move too much. Just kind of gaze down at it. And good to keep count when you're on a retreat of a mantra. If you want to do it counting, if you could hold the mala in your left hand and using your ring finger and your thumb or your first finger. Just try it. You get comfortable with it, but use your left hand, please. Plant a good seed. And if you get tired, if it's hard for you, if you're not used to it, it's okay. You put the mala down and just do the mantra. You say it loud enough for yourself to hear it, but we're going to do it just on a little lower. Usually when you're in a retreat, you do it you say it loud enough for yourself to hear it, but since there's a room full, we're going to say it a little bit lower. But let's do it together very softly 3 times, and then you do it on your own. Okay? Mikme sewe terchin chinre se, jime kienpe wangpo jampel yang, dupung malu jomze sangwe da, ganchin kepe suchin tsongkapa, lo sang jape shaban so wande. Mikme sewe terchin chinre se, jime kienpe wangpo jampel yang, dupung malu jomze sangwe da, ganchin kepe suchin tsongkapa, lo sang jape shaban so wande. Mikme sewe terchin chinre se, jume kepe wangpo jampel yang, dupung malu jomze sangwega, ganchin kepe sojin tsongkapa, lop sang jape shaba so wande. And then keep going. Tupang Malo, Jose Samana, Ganchin Cape, Sopin, Tsongkapa, Sanjapa, Shabla, so I did say wait to instruments and Jimmy. Tupang Malo, Jose Samana, Ganchin, the base of Tsongkapa, Sanjapa, Shabla, so I did make me say wait to instruments and Jimmy gave him a boat and beyond the Malo, Jose Samana, Sanjapa, Shabla, so on there. That was one mala. For some. For me. Now, just to finish, we went through these verses before in the visualization. We request to receive the realizations of the Guru. Peldin Sawe Lama Rinpoche Daki Ninga Pende Tengshula Kadrin Chempo Gone Jesunte Kusuntuki Nuju Sodu Sol. The greatest kindness the great kind Lama keep me in your care and grant me the realizations of your body, speech, and mind. Guide me and grant me the attainments of your holy body, speech, and mind. You see your precious root Lama seated upon the lotus in my heart. So here's where we just did the mantra, right? And if you're visualizing, they're still on your head. And now is when we dissolve them into our heart. So they come to your crown and turn around facing the same way, in the direction as you. You can visualize the central channel as straight in the center of your body, and visualize your whole inside of your body as hollow. Okay? And just see the central channel and the place in your heart where there is the lotus and the moon cushion, and the Lama comes there. Grant that I attain your body, speech, and mind. Request to receive the realizations of the Guru. Grant that I attain both common and highest goals. So at the end of each of these prayers, Peldin Sawe Lama Rinpoche Daki Ninga Pende Tengshu La Kadun Chempo Gune Jason Te Tunmang Nudu Soda Sol, is when you're receiving at the end you visualize I receive it, okay? Remember that the Guru's holy body is indivisible from your own, inside your heart. And at the same time, just think about that extreme subtle mind is what's serving as the cause, the substantial cause for the Guru's mind and your own mind to become indivisible and transform into the Dharmakaya, the clear light of great bliss. And imagine, that you're not going to ever break that fine thread of the white clouds connecting the Lord Guru of your mind at your heart with Je Tsongkapa and the Lord Guru of Maitreya in Tushita. Peldin Sawe Lama Rinpoche Daki Ninga Pen Ninga Ten Shukla Kadrin Chempo Jesunte Chanchu Ningpo Badu Tempa Shok. Take me after you in great kindness, staying here, never moving until the Buddha's essence. Serav kuntu gyawe Tsongkapa tek chok shenyan yusu zepe tu gyawe nyafe lam sang deni le kecheng samyang dokpa magyo chek. So by the power of doing this practice, by making all the offerings and requests to the perfect pure Guru, the source of all attainments without exception, in all my rebirths, in all my lives, until that moment of enlightenment, may I joyfully be cared for by my lama. And in having inviting my Lord Guru on the tip of the layer of the billowing white clouds, extending from the heart of the Perfect One, through the accumulation of the collection that you did by offering the whole 7-limb prayer, may my mind always be blessed. Kewa kuntu yandak lama dangja jalme chuki pela lanchu ching sadan lamge yuntin rajak neto de changi gopan yotob shuk. In all my lives, may I never live apart from my perfect lamas. May I bask in the glory of the Dharma. May I fulfill perfectly every good quality of every level and path and reach then quickly the place where I become myself, the one who holds the diamond. Just see the light dissolving, the light that's coming to you from your lama. Again, feel it dissolving in your entire body and how it fills with light and the many light rays that then are emanated from your self, your mind, and manifesting in front of you as a thousand beings, holy beings, there just for you, always there. And just remember, now that we've gone through this extremely extensive visualization, you can drop all that and always just visualize your root lama. Okay? But know the details and know what they mean. And just close your eyes and just feel them in your presence. And listen closely. you for this honor to teach you this text. Thank you.